Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Amstar, bringing you something very different, something very collaborative of what I gathered from everything that's been released so far, or as much, or what I thought was the most important from the Xbox One and the PS4. Now, before I get this, let me be very, very clear. I am not fanboying on any product or any company because I really don't care. I'm not going to fanboy out on like Call of Duty or fanboy out on Battlefield. Just to get that aside, I'm not going to favor Xbox over PlayStation. So with that further ado, let's get started with the PS4. Just starting at the pros, starting at the price of $399, conceived as the Xbox is going to $500, there's a $100 difference. Now the freedom to play, you're not restricted to. For example, Xbox makes you go online for at least or to check in one time per day within the 24 hours, and then you can play offline if you need to or if you want to. But you have to check in online. In the PS4, please get that out of here. You don't need any of that. High spec hardware, yes, they both have pretty good hardware. It's the next gen. I mean, they're not always going to be the top of the line because technology moves forward, and that's just something that's just really hard to stay up top and on the line about it. But they're both really great specs. You can always go on Google and look on that. This is not a specs video, so I'll continue. Gamer feedback live. Now, I want to say that's kind of like live video. So like if you're having trouble, for example, if you're having trouble in Skyrim, you don't know how to beat this mission, or you don't know what to look for, your friend can take over your controller. So what I'm saying is Billy is sitting at his house and John is sitting at his house. Billy asks John to help. So Billy probably gives John permission to play on his controller, but it's playing off of Billy's console. And he can pretty much live stream it to John and they could play together. Or if you're not a big fan of that, maybe that's a con. But right now that's in the pro because that's something that hasn't been done before, and it's something that I'm looking forward to for many other reasons. Used games. You can actually play with used games. When I talk about the Xbox and the cons, they don't allow it. You can actually play with used games for the PlayStation 4. Now Blu-rays, yes, I just put it in there because it's still that great leap that yes, they have it and the Xbox does have it, so I'll put it in the, you see it in the Xbox One as well. And last but not least, cross game chat. Now if you know, and if you played on the Xbox, you know you had a party chat system which you can play one. Okay, for example, Billy's playing Mass Effect while John's playing Call of Duty, and they interact with that party system. Well, now PlayStation 4 is bringing that towards their system, and that's the reason why I am really interested in this, because on the PS3 they had like this private chat, but that wasn't really good because you couldn't talk to more than one person, and when you have a bunch of friends, then it's really not fun. So that's the pros list. There's probably a little bit more pros that I just didn't think they're that important to you, or you can always go in the links below in the description and check out pros and cons. I'll just link them with what I found. So let's continue with the cons. Now starting with the cons right off the bat. Now this could be a very good thing or it could be a very bad thing depending on what way you look at it. You actually have to pay at least $5 now per month if you want to do by month. That you have to play. If you want to play, you gotta pay. You get what I'm saying? You get my vibe? What I'm saying now is this could be a good thing or a bad thing. The bad thing is, well, obviously they're going to take your money instead of playing online for free. The good thing about this is probably they're going to update their maintenance, give new updates. See, the reason why Xbox makes you pay that $50 a year if you really want to go that route is because the services that they provide. For an example, look at Call of Duty. They get a map pack. They get the map pack for a month earlier or whatever it is, because they make a contract with, I think it's Activision, don't quote me on that. They make a contract with them saying that we want the map packs before PS3 does or whatever, and that's how they get it. And they also, with the money that they get, they can do that kind of stuff. But possibly, just possibly, maybe PS3 can make a contract with a different game and say they get all the stuff before the Xbox does. It works like that. You know, you get my vibe. So more updates, more possibilities, and more opportunities can be pushed out there. And it's really not that bad because, well, I mean, it kind of is bad if you're used to playing for free. Now you got to pay for it. Anyways, let's continue. The ugly design. God, they all look like a VHS. The Xbox does, and the PS4. I don't understand why they gotta look so damn ugly. You know, I mean, we're getting into the stage of everything's become skinnier and thinner, and now everything's become bulky with this PS4 and the Xbox One. Come on, that's something I dislike. Lack of apps. Now, I don't think PS4 has been into the apps like Xbox has. Like, look at the Skype apps. They have the Internet Explorer apps. They have Hulu Plus on there. They have they have ESPN. I think they have like a UFC app, Twitter, Facebook in there, and that's all great. You could browse the internet on a PlayStation. That's all great, but they really don't have selective apps. They kind of lack in that category, if you know what I mean. So continuing with the controller design. Good gosh, the controller design is a little bit bulky. So if you have small hands, well, I don't have to worry about this, but if you have small hands, their controller is going to be updated with the trackpad, I think it is. And I just think it's a little bit bulky, a little bit bigger, but that's a personal preference, so I just threw that in the cons. What makes consoles sell? What's the whole big idea of a console? Games! Isn't that right? Games. So when you have a new console, you want to have all these new releases that haven't even been touched with the previous consoles. And now that we don't really see it, all these new releases for the PlayStation, that might be a drawback. And quite frankly, that expectation hasn't been met for creating a console. There's just not enough new releases, I don't believe, and it shows it. Now, this is probably the biggest drawback for the PlayStation is no backwards compatibility. So if you have a PS3 game you really, really love, I'm sorry folks, but you're going to have to keep that PS3 if you really want to play that game, because it's not going to work in your PS4. Make sure you understand that going into making your consideration of which console you actually want. So now that we have the cons and the pros of the PS4, let's get into the Xbox One, starting off at the pros. Starting with the pros on Microsoft and the Xbox One, well gosh, Microsoft, you're making it really hard for me on this one. You don't really see a lot of pros. That's because it's like an anti-customer satisfaction, because what they're doing with the cons, which I'll get into that, it's really hard for me to put any pros. But in the matter of fact, I will do it because, well, this is pros and cons video. Anyways, I'm not disrespecting Xbox One. They do what they do. They're focusing more kind of on the media kind of outlook of everything, and making it all in one. So you got your Netflix, you got your movies, you got your TV shows, you got your shows. I said shows. You got your sports, you got your games, you got all of it all in one, and you have the Kinect. How brilliant! You know, that's what they're thinking, and that's what I think Xbox One is trying to go for. So if you want to pay $500 to get all this media coverage of whatever, you know, they're pretty much more implementing more TV shows. So, and it's really, really, really quick. So you can flip back to Skype, you could play your games, you could watch movies, and it's really, really fast. So maybe that's good if you're a family guy or a family member or whatever, and you're looking to have a great time with your family, connect with them. This is your console, baby. This is all you. Anyways, continuing with this, dedicated servers. So now I think it's like 300,000 servers to 15,000 servers before I read somewhere. That's pretty much improving. So I'm pretty saying that's a dedicated servers for the list. So now you can get crazy numbers of matches or whatever, and you don't have to worry about migrating hosts or someone going all random for lagging or something. Maybe that's going to be a fix. Maybe that's a really good thing. Maybe it's not a good thing. Who knows? We don't know how it's going to work until the actual game comes out. So I'm just doing the pros and cons. Throw this up in the pros because, well, that is a pro if it works out pretty damn good. Continue with this ESPN partnership. If you're a sports fanatic, this is awesome. Then you get your sports coverage, whatever. I'm not really into that kind of stuff because, once again, I'm not in the media. I want games, Show me the games. I want games. And they don't really show that too much because they don't reveal this. I mean, granted, it's only June, but still, come on, guys. And hardware. Well, like I said in the PS4 specs and whatever, technology is going to be technology. It's always going to move forward. So right now, it's kind of great. It's not the best, but it's great at this time. And the graphics are always they're going to be improved. You're going to definitely see graphics change. So now that I got through all the pros, let's have a fun time with the cons. Here we go. Let's have some fun with the cons, I guess, for the Xbox One. Starting out just at your low price of $500. $500? Are you serious? Well, that's because they have to throw that shitty ass Kinect in there. Oh, my bad. I wasn't being biased there. I'm sorry. I just don't see, gamers don't need the Kinect. I mean, I have my Xbox in my room. What am I going to have to do with the Kinect? I can't fucking jump up and do push-ups right here. I really don't have that space. I know. I mean, and the Kinect is always on. That's the thing. Kinect is always on. It has to be always on. It's really creepy if you think about it. I mean, seriously. Just sit here and think to yourself. You have the Kinect on. It's going to listen to you. It's going to watch you. And you don't even know that anybody is watching you. You really don't know. They say that you could turn it off, but who? Come on, are you going to believe that? Seriously? No. And even if you try to cover it, I bet you're just going to say, malfunction, please remove so I can see. Or something around those lines. You know, it's just really, really freaking weird. And it doesn't even do anything to my gaming experience. Blocking used games is another big idea that Microsoft, oh, let's block games. I don't want my company or my developers, or if I'm a developer, I don't want anybody else to play my game. They gotta do it by these policies and these policies only. So GameStop, too bad, so sad, or shit out of luck. That's what their thought goes through. No used games. So if I meet Billy on the side of the street and say, hey, want my game? Well, too bad. You really can't do that, because you have to be on my friends list for 30 days. And that just kind of sucks, you know. You get in the moment with a friend and you want to go play a game? Well, shit, you really can't because you're not on my friends list. And there's going to probably be little ways around this, and they'll work it out. And like I said, it's only June, so possibly they'll work stuff out. And I didn't go really into detail, so if you want to correct me in the comments, in a polite way, of course, then be my guest. You know, be my guest. Let's continue with requires the internet connection. You have to be connected to the internet at least 1 hour throughout the 24 hours, at least every day. If you want to play offline for that day, you have to do it. You just have to do it. It's a constant check. You have to. There's no way it's ands or buts around this. You have to do it. That's what they say. And that's a drawback, because if you want to go play your Xbox One up at the cabin up north or wherever, you can't do that because there's no internet up there. You can't. So just throw that out the picture. Don't bring your consoles because they won't be any good. See, you see what I'm saying? And I already went over the Kinect. Don't even get me started with that crap. Hassle sharing games. You know, like I said, if you want to share your game to Billy, you have to be on his friends list for 30 days. So if I have a game, I'll elaborate on this. If I have a game I want to share it to Billy, Billy has to be on my Xbox friends for 30 days. That's it. Simple like that. And ugly design. Good gosh, they all look fat, ugly, and tormented, and big. And that's not the way I want it. Everything in my room, from technology-wise, has a sleek, nice, rounded edge or a sleek design to it, and it makes it look funky and really, really cool. Big. Oh, I want one of those. Those look really cool. It's appealing to the eye, is what it is in my room. But this, this really doesn't. So, anyways, guys, that is all the time that I have for the cons. I know I kind of dwelled on the cons and the Xbox One, but gosh, Microsoft, you're making it so hard for us gamers. We're talking about hardcore gamers, not media freaks. We're talking about gamers, and this is a video that I don't really want to ramble on about the cons about the Xbox One, but it's so damn hard. So as a consumer choice, you can decide. And if you can't decide, just go with the Wii. You know, just make your life a lot easier. Don't worry about any of this crap. Go play the shitty Wii and just be like, yeah, I got the Wii. What now? You know? Anyways, that is all for this video. Please remember to like, favorite, subscribe to my channel. And I'll probably be posting a little bit more details about the PS4 or maybe about the Xbox One. If Xbox decides to come out with something a lot better, then I'll stop calling it the Xbox Don't Buy One. But other than that, right now that's what I'm seeing, you know. At the beginning I said this is not a bias video, but it's really hard when Microsoft is making this anti-crap about so much stuff about rules and regulations that you have to follow with all this bullcrap. And before you never did. I don't know what they're thinking. If anybody can tell me actually what their point was besides piracy, then be my guest. You know, I'll get you in the dual com. You can share it with me, make a video. Let's do this. Anyways, guys, that's all the time. So if you haven't made up your mind, then go watch a lot of other videos on YouTube. Go Google pros and cons, because I'm sure you're gonna find a lot of what I said to be true. And I'll post some in the link. I'll post them in the description as well, so you can go check on there. And that's all I got. One more last time, guys. Follow me on Amstar. Links are in the description as well as for my social media. And I'm out of here. Make sure you subscribe. Peace, guys.